In this video, we're going to work on the get input from the user. So it's going to be an interactive application. So there are actually this is going to be our first example. Just to type this code. So what it happens is we will use the input method to actually ask the user, please enter a temperature in Celsius, and then this input, the return value of this input is going to be a string. Whatever the user enters, it's going to be a string, and then the string will be evaluated to turn it to an integer. If it's an integer, then turn it into an integer. So the temperature will becomes a numerical number, and the numerical number can do the mathematical calculation. Therefore, it will actually convert it to a Fahrenheit. So this is the program. So let's run it and see what it's gonna look like. So it's here, like we said, it's gonna ask the user to enter a temperature, and then we just enter one whatever it is, right? Let's say 30 degree, right, in Celsius. And when I strike enter key is the only key to tell the program I'm done with my input. So that will actually return the 30 as a string to the input method or function, and this function will the eval function will actually take the string 30 and turn it into a integer 30, and then you can do the calculation. Therefore, it's calculated as 80. If we don't do the evaluate, it's going to give us problems. It's going to say we can't do that calculation. For example, I can repeat the program and just to get rid of this evaluate. So you will see what's going on. It's going to give us the arrows. So right now it's still okay because it's still executing this part. It's not returned the value yet. So again, I'm typing the 30, and you will notice that it cannot multiply sequence by non-integer to the type of float. So what it says is actually the temperature is a string. If you want, you can inspect what's the value of the temperature. So let me run it again, and so I enter 30. You will notice that oh, it's not printing that. So let me print it here. Print the value of temperature, and then you will notice that it's actually 30. However, this 30 is actually a string 30. So it does not give you this calculation. So we have to evaluate it. So just be careful. So this is I'm gonna comment. It is a string value, and this one which cannot be calculated. So it has to be an integer. Okay, it has to be integer to be calculated. The second example is we're entering two values, and then we calculate the average value of the two numbers. So let's run this one. It's the first one, and then the second one. This is the variable for first number, second variable for second number, and then we add them together, divide by 2. That will be the mean value of these two. So the first number, I am going to type something like 30, for example. The second one, 40. Then the average is supposed to be 35, right? So, and the average is actually 35. So this is how it look like. And the input function actually is very simple. It's very simple way to for your program to get users information. So you have input and then message to the user. It will return a variable as a string. So you can do something like this: enter your name, and you're gonna get hello. Evaluate function actually converts the text or the string into a number, or into a float number, or integer, depends on what it is. So for this example, I can run it. So whatever I'm going to type, I'm going to type John Doe, right? So here it tells you hello John Doe, and here for this example, it's going to ask you enter a number. Let's say number 3. Once I strike enter key, it's going to give me the square of 3 is actually 9, because the evaluate converts the string, the text, to a number, to an integer. Same thing for the number. If we don't put the evaluate, then it's not gonna execute correctly. It says cannot multiply the sequence by non-integer to of its type str. So that's it. For the printing function actually requires a parenthesis, and then you can actually print some values. For example, you simply print this the whole thing. Since it's in a quote, it's actually print a string. Well, this is actually an expression, 3 plus 4. Therefore, it will evaluate the expression first. 3 plus 4 is 7. So this one is going to print 7 for you. So you will see 3 plus 4, and then this is 7. And the next one, it's actually has several parameters. You notice that this is the first parameter is a string, and then second one is expression. They separated them by use the comma, and then the third one is another string. So this one is supposed to give you the value of 3 plus 4 is 7, and then you're gonna see that B. Here is the SEP. Can you make a guess? What is SEP mean? SEP means separator, right? So that means we're not going to have the separator. So you see this one is actually there is no separator. So okay, next one is gonna be the end. The end function will automatically advance to the next line. So let's take a look. So you will notice that on the first line, it has the end equals to empty. That means this one is gonna be has the empty. So it does not give make a new line for each of the print. The print you can understand as a print 9, print 1 9, and then slash add a slash n, make a new line to this one. So that's why you print 1, and then this is another line. Well, if you make the end as empty, then it will actually erase that change 9. So it will make the whole thing as 1 9. So that's what happens. For the variables, we look at our previous example. You have the variable, and then you have the evaluate of the user's input, and then this was going to be integer. This is actually holds the integer for this calculation. So it will replace whatever the user entered as an integer, and then do the calculation, right? Do the calculation. So pretty much so far we actually finished all the content. Now it's time to do the exercise. As assignments, so we have assignments. It is gonna be the problem number 3 on the textbook, and it's gonna be 3, 5, and I believe it's 10 or 8. Yeah, I believe it's 8. Here's how do I do it. I just give you example. It's not necessarily be the only solution, but it's just one of the possible solutions. The number 3 says print a triangle like the one below. So what we do is simply just print one line and then print another line. So this way is practicing that. So if I run, it's gonna give us this triangle shape, right? And then number 5 says ask the user to enter a number and print out the square of the number, but use the zip option arguments to print it out a full sentence that ends with a period. So here's what we do, and here's the sample code. So we first get the enter username and then do the calculation. So the square of whatever the number is, and then do the square, and then we have the zip right here. So this is how it's gonna look like. So you enter a number. Let's say I enter 9. So this will give you this whole thing, right? So number 8 says write a program that asks the user to enter 3 numbers, and all the 3 numbers are separate input, and then create a variable called total, and the average that holds the sum and average of the 3 numbers, and print it out the value of total and average. So here's the program. So we have number 1, number 2, number 3, and then calculate them together. Remember, all the 3 numbers has to be evaluated. So those are the numerical numbers, and then you can do the calculation for total and average. So total and average are actually the variable that holds the value. So that will be the program. So I can enter numbers 1, 2, and 3, and then when I strike enter, it's gonna give me total is 6 and the average is 2, right? So this is the program, and if you want, you can actually do more exercise in the textbook. And for example, you can do 9 and 7 and 6, right? I just give some examples. It's really important that you actually type those code and understand what's going on. All right, that's the end of this video.